I've done a lot of these Kengan videos so far, but there's one thing that has always escaped me. Why is Ren's nickname the Watchman? Out of all the nicknames to a given characters, a lot of them I can make sense of them. The Man of Dreams, the Superhuman, the Devil, the Asura, like the Fang of Metsudo. Those I all understand. But the Watchman, it's really weird because I don't know if like he wanted to go like Sandra wanted to go like a different direction with Ren and just never did or what have you. But anyways, that's the one thing I want to get out of the way before we actually start this video. I don't know what the fuck the Watchman actually is supposed to stand for when it comes to Ren. I think it's just the fact that he's always there like watching the fights from the stands because he got clapped immediately by Kiryu or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, what is good, y'all? Seeing here, and today we are going to be talking about the Watchman, Nikaido Ren. So, everyone's favorite femboy, outside of, well, everyone else, of course. Ren is a character that originally Sandro wanted to go into a different direction with, okay? He said so in his notes that he expected Ren, when he was originally writing out the story, to have, somewhat of a significant role, but as he was going against Kiryu first and they were making a storyboard for it, he absolutely just got swept under the rug. And I feel like ever since then, it's just been, like a joke for Ren to not at all be strong. And so we're going to take a look into that. What we're going to be doing here today is looking into Ren's character, figure out where exactly his design came from, what his focus is in the story, what he does in the story of Ashura and currently in Omega, and what we look forward to seeing from him in the future. So that being said, let's begin with his character design. Like I said in the beginning, originally Ren was supposed to be a big shot in the series, having taken out the third ranked company's fighter. Okay, so the fighter that Byakuya News hired was not at all some chump, all right? Byakuya's News fighter was this old man, about 82 years old, who trained up his own like fighting Kempo for, I think, about 37 years. And so he is undefeated during that 37-year time period, fighting all outdoor battles, never losing. And then Ren pulls up and absolutely washes him. So it's suffice to say that that old man was probably just fighting fodder for all we care about. Anyways, when it comes to Ren's character design, Sandro wanted Ren to show off his power somehow, but never really managed to fit it within the story. He was never weak, just outmatched because, like I said, he had to go against Kiryu off rip. His entire backstory was planned to be an entire different route before they went with the whole Chinese look and Chinese flair with it, where he looks more like a wandering fighter for hire. But once they went with that whole Chinese aesthetic, Daro took heavy inspiration from Yun and Yang from Street Fighter 3. His clothes, they aren't exactly the traditional Heavenly Wolves garb. They're actually based off of Chinese style TM Revolution. TM Revolution stands for Takanori Makes Revolution, created by Takanori Nishikawa. And Takanori is a musician that still makes music to this day, and he actually voices some characters in games. But Takanori is mostly known for Soul Eater's first opening, both Eden Zero's opening, a lot of Gundam Seed opening and endings, and the ending theme for Bleach Hellverse movie. He also voices Ito in Genshin Impact, but I don't care that much about Genshin. Anyways, back to Ren. So we're going to talk about Ren and his backstory now, okay? So Ren is, of course, the leader of the Heavenly Wolves. It's a group that suddenly appeared on the battlefield to aid Japan against the Chinese army back in 37. Now, at this point, fast forward, and now Ren is the leader of this group. They're actually currently based in Taiwan, and Ren grew up in the same town as Liu Dongchen in Purgatory, Taipei, Taiwan. Now, not much else is known about the wolves themselves, but we can make guesses about, the members based off the small interactions that they've had with Ren and amongst themselves. We have Kai, who is Ren's caretaker. He pretty much watched over Ren as he grew up. So honestly, you could just say that Kai was the real Watchman in this case. But When Ren was younger, he was a huge introvert, and that still carries over to this time. When Ren is watching the matches, he refuses to go out to the stands to watch it. Instead, he'll watch it on like a computer around all the wolves, so he's not around other people as much. It's a little slight detail, but I think that's pretty funny, the fact that Ren's introvertism carries over, and it completely contrasts with how Ren actually dresses. But we're going to talk about that when we get into his personality. But this man, Ren, is completely like, when he's comfortable, he is comfortable. This man just threw off all his clothes before the match against Kiryu. Pause. In fact, no, you don't gotta pause, because Ren is actually just like that. Anyways, now Hwang is the smart guy of the group. I'd assume he's like the backup young leader if Ren were to die or Kai becomes unavailable. Now, Ren said that if anything were to happen to him, that, you know, he gonna have to count on Kai. And these are, of course, conversations that when you're in a group like this, you're going to have conversations with them often about the chain of command and who you actually want to be in charge when the real leader is away. So, of course, it's going to be, in my assumption, Ren, then Kai, then Hwang. And then we have the next member, Mei. Raw and unfiltered. Mei is definitely the more organized one of the group. When they were gathering information on everyone from Purgatory, Ren would always go to Mei in order to, you know, give out the information spiel. She'd give out the whole spiel when it came to the Falcon. Outside of that, she did like cry a lot and was the one that revived Ren after he got absolutely decimated by Kiryu. And yeah, raw and unfiltered. Anyways, next is going to be Yan. Yan is freaking swole, bro. Okay, he is absolutely jacked. He definitely seems like the wild card of the group, where he is a hothead that would be more likely to disobey orders, but he does it with a sense of, you know, actual thought and knowledge behind it, because he was the first one to actually suspect Hayami of betraying the wolves. And so I'm not going to say that Yan is just, you know, that big dumb guy is kind of, you know, stronger than everyone, even though he's not as big as Kai. He might be potentially stronger. I just want to fight a little bit more. But with that being said, let's go ahead and go back to Ren and talk about his personality. Now, Ren's personality is that he's very smart. Okay, Ren is without a doubt one of the smartest characters in the series, but he always overestimates people's abilities. He overestimates himself. He overestimates Kazi. He overestimated, well, himself, and that's exactly why he lost to Kiryu, but we'll talk about that in a second. Now, Ren, being an assassin and the leader of the Heavenly Wolves, he can gather information on people very quickly. He knew that Setsuna was the user of the Koei style, and even before fighting him, by the way, and that's actually not a... That's an interesting thing to think about, because the Koei style, the way that it's passed down, only like certain number of people actually know about it. I believe that the only user for the Koei style was Setsuna's master before Setsuna took care of him. Looking back at the data, yes, Genzan was the one who rediscovered the Koei style. He was a descendant of the main line of Koei style founders, and he noticed that only 2 of the techniques were actually viable, Blink and Rakusha's Palm. And so Ren having this knowledge of that, okay, then so using the Koei style, I know it's that old style technique, and that only one person managed to rediscover it. That's some high level intel gathering right there. And that's been interesting, because in the series, Setsuna is the only person who knows the Koei style, or rather not knows of the Koei style, but knows how to perform the Koei style. And so for Ren to have that information on deck, this man's chain of information is absolutely crazy. So it's kind of making a little bit more sense on why he's called the Watchman, but he should be called, like, you know, the collector, the gatherer, the information man, or something like that. The Watchman doesn't sound really that imposing. It just seems like ominous. Maybe that's because it's more befitting for him. Anyways, on to Ren's arrogance. Now, his arrogance definitely cost him the loss against Kiryu. He initially thought he could take him on, you know, real easily. He thought he was going to wipe the floor with Kiryu, but he was just completely outclassed. Ren gets along really well with animals, actually. He dresses in a very flashy and flamboyant clothing. The people on the beaches can never tell if Ren is in a bathing suit or just in his normal attire, because those clothes are very salacious and they are covering absolutely nothing, my guy. Like, I don't understand why he fights like this. Maybe it's the freedom, but hey, who knows? To each their own. So the next thing is going to be interesting, okay? So Ren has a decent value when it comes to human life, despite being an assassin. he's the only one to visit Megaro's grave at the end of Ashura. And so, despite not really seeing eye to eye with Megaro and, well, with any of the people that Hayami had hired initially, he does see, like, I gotta pay respects to the people that I work with, pay respects to the dead. Because I don't think anyone else actually did pay respects to Megaro. I'm pretty sure. I think Julius was there too, but riddle me this, I don't think anyone was really like crying over Megaro's death outside of Jirota. That was resolved quickly. Anyways, now let's go on to talk about Ren's fighting style. So Ren fights using the Heavenly Wolf Fist style. It's a style that was designed for fighting on the battlefield, so you're against multiple opponents at a time. It's not really suited for one-on-one combat, but it doesn't mean that Ren isn't capable of taking out one person at a time. And so it has different sets of skills behind it. We have the Kwangda, which is a different name for Fajin. And Fajin is basically explosive strength strikes, or rather striking an opponent with explosive strength that is much heavier or much stronger than your weight would actually suggest. A lot of people in the Kengan verse who use Fajin are very light, but they're able to fight against people who are way out of their weight class. A prime example of this is in Strike It Rich, where Yuzuha's strikes are even able to damage Sina Riko when Riko actually has a massive weight class difference against Yuzuha. And so this is a way for Ren to combat someone who's probably on the level of Julius. Now, does that mean that, Ren could actually damage Julius? Maybe. We don't know. I'm not going to go into that debate. But what I will say is that he has other abilities he can use as well. You see, if you compare Ren's Fajin with Lan, which is rapid Fajin strikes, so imagine this, multiple strikes where you're going at a person with explosive force, arguably your entire weight at that point. You're going to do some damage no matter how heavy the person is. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be enough to knock out somebody like Julius for Ren, but it will be, a bit substantial. Maybe he'll, brush it off with his shoulder a little bit and just say, that was cute, or something like that. I don't know. Next is going to be the famous move that Ren has, the Qinlong or Quinlong. I don't actually know how it's pronounced. Somebody please correct me. I'm going to spell it out right here. Anyways. It's a 3-step technique that's considered impossible to pull off even when sparring. And so it starts off like this. You have Zhu, which is where he compresses the air into his palms. And then you have Juan, where he whispers a secret spell into a person's ear, creating an instant hypnosis. This is where he says, "If you can, we can, Michael and Son." And by the time you're actually in that little state of hypnosis, you've already gotten too close. And that's where he hits you with the Guang. I really hope I'm saying these words right, by the way. But Guang, this is when Ren attacks a defensive opponent with a Fajin strike. So basically, he's stunning his opponent and then going in for the kill. Which, in basic video game sense, that's a very strong move. You're literally stunning into a full combo at that point. That is really good. In theory, of course, you would think that'd be a good thing to have, but we don't actually see Ren pull it off properly. I mean, he does get the attack off on Setsuna, but Setsuna gets to jump on him and twist his shoulder. Yikes. So Ren's original purpose in the story was to serve Hayami and then place the bombs all around the stadium. Now, the bombs were placed around the stadium in case any of Hayami's fighters just didn't make it into the Annihilation Finals, and so he was going to blow up the island. Well, they didn't actually have an escape route for the wolves. And so when Hayami actually then betrayed the wolves, that's when Ren decided to, all right then, let's go ahead and round up all the bombs and disarm them. That way, even if Hayami does press the button, nothing's really going to happen. And so after that, that's pretty much the last that we ever get of Ren from Ashura's standpoint. In Omega though, this is, it's crazy to me because in Ashura, Ren is introduced as taking out the third ranking company's fighter, who was this old dude, but he was a master fighter, okay? He went, I think it was like 30 plus years undefeated and then got washed by Ren. So we were thinking Ren, he had some aura with him. And then you get to Omega, where I think this was the quickest that we've ever seen someone lose aura in Ashura, or rather the Kengan verse, because in chapter 1 of Omega, Ryuki is literally inches or seconds away from killing Ren point blank. On sight of meeting Ren, Ryuki was immediately about to kill him once he said that, all right, then, well, you can't see Metsudo unless you get through me. Then Ryuki just like, I don't want to fight. All right, I guess you're not going to help me. I'm just going to have to kill you then. Ren was literally about to die if Metsudo didn't show up. I just want to point that out. Ren was about to get murdered by Ryuki if Metsudo did not show up to just say hi to him. And so after that, it was pretty much confirmed that Ren was not really going to be a important character in the story. I mean, yes, he's going to relay some information for people, but he is not at all going to be a fighter, bro. Ren, unfortunately, he got put as a stepping stool now. And so he does play a hand in doing the background checks on everyone in the association when the worm got infiltrated. After Shen completely embarrassed everyone's security skills, though. Like, when Shen just walked behind everyone casually, so slowly, and no one noticed him. Nah. I'm gonna believe that Ren got fired for that one, but to be fair, everyone should have got fired for that one because this man Shen just walked into the building slowly, casually, and no one said a single thing about it because they couldn't even recognize him. And even those that did notice he was in there, they got folded immediately. So when you think about it, even if Ren did see him, what was he gonna do? Because he got folded by Ryuki. It wasn't much that Ren could do. So what I'd like to see more of from Ren in the future is definitely some more Heavenly Wolves interaction in the main series. I feel like they can play, like I want to see like we can't do that. I feel like we can get a little bit like an espionage character out of Ren, where he's just gathering intel on, I want to say like, I guess on Shen or the whereabouts of, no. What I want to see really is like an espionage from Ren and the Wolves. I want to see them perform like recon on people, where they're getting this information from. It's like, I want to see like a page or two of just the Heavenly Wolves and how exactly they're able to gather all this information on different fighters so easily. That's what I want to see from Ren. If we ever get that, wonderful. If we don't, I won't be upset about it because it's not really something that's needed in a battle manga, but it's something that would be nice to see. You know what I mean? But with Leo Dongjin actually being in the story and essentially being a complete upgrade from Ren, it's safe to say that Ren's fighting days are over, bro. Sorry, brother, it's over for you. Because Leo essentially just replaced him. He's just a better version all around when it comes to like Ashura's standpoint, because it's really based on 1v1 fighting. Liu is based off of 1v1 fighting, and Ren is based off like espionage and 1v multiple fighting. So you're not really going to get what you want from Ashura out of a character like Ren. It's kind of like how Muteba is, we know he's a freaking killer, but he's not a killer in what we need in Ashura. We need people who are going to do 1v1 fights, not people who are going to slaughter an entire battlefield of people. You know what I mean? And so with that being said, in conclusion, I would say that Ren is a character that in design is really good. I feel like they can do a lot more with Ren. He could have done so much better with how Ren was actually created and written with him. But given the direction of the story and how it was actually progressing, they really didn't really feel a need for it. So he just was thrown away because his character wasn't exactly fitting into the narrative of the story, and that kind of kept on ever since. It's why we haven't seen characters again like Gozo and characters like Karo. Like, the reason that we haven't seen Karo in the story is because there's no reason to have Karo in the story. And the reason that we haven't seen Nezu in the story because Nezu had no reason being there in the first place. And so Ren falls into a category of characters where he's not bad, he's not weak. This is just not his story. All right. So with that being said, let me know down below what you guys think about Ren. What do you guys want to see from him going forward? Do you actually want to see Ren fight going forward? First off, do you want to see another fight with Ren? Or a fight with Ren? Because to be fair, that wasn't a fight he had with Setsuna. That was an annihilation. That was an execution right there. So, hey, let me know what you guys think down below. With that being said, my name is Sync, It was a pleasure being here, and I will talk with you guys on the next one. Y'all take care. The Sekibayashi video is gone. Oma's tip is for the Carlusi, bro. Oma's tip is for the Carlusi, little bro. That's Carla's tip, not yours. He don't know you, little bro. Probably something like Oma doesn't love you.